done a video like this for a while of us bombing along with all the data, the rear view mirror, the whole kit and caboodle, but I've called work in for the day, having the rest of the day off, because we've got the edge of a cyclone, the cyclone Debbie, and it's pretty wet outside, miserable weather for working in, so cancelled all jobs and pulled the pin, and here's a bit of what it looks like outside. A bit wet and miserable, but not too drastic, although the creek has come up a bit, that's alright, that's okay. So anyway, back to the riding. So what we got here, we've got, we're all out today, so we're after Nudgee. Good weather today for this ride. This was on Sunday, and nice weather, so we've got all of us out plus one more, the Pommy, another Pommy from England, Dan. So there's Alf up the front, then Dan, Tim, me, and then behind is Adrian and Mark. They're just lagging off a bit, but we're heading out to Nudgee. So we've done about 70 k's. Well, we haven't done, it's a complete ride of about 70 k's. And we're just coming up to a bit of a fast bit now that we all put a bit of an effort in, and you'll see when we get up and just over the motorway bridge that the pace picks up a fair bit, and we start to wind up those watts, just waiting for those pair to catch up. And I think now, yeah, we're coming up over the roadworks, so this is coming over the Bruce Highway, and then Tim decides as we get to the other side of this little mound here that he's going to put his foot down and go for it, and he gives it a good old nudge. Heading out to Nudgee Beach. So we're about to get going. The guys are just caught up now, so that's all good. Tim's having a look around, make sure everybody's there, and then he puts the power on, and then I'll come up behind him in a minute and take over for a bit as well. But you'll see my watts, I think I'm sort of hanging around that 280, 300 watts, just hanging on his wheel in a minute, second wheel. So he's got to be pushing out closer to 400, I would say, in a minute. And we shall just come down this little bit of a downhill part after that little rise, and then it'll be on. So this is about all up, I think, from Strava. This particular section where we get going now is about 2k, 3k, something like that. So off he goes. Tim's off, so I see that he's going for it, so I jump up behind him, and there's Alf. I'm going to try and squeeze in with Alf. He didn't want to let me in, but in the end I got in and made it a tad easier for him, just a tad easier for him. So we're just popping along now. So Tim's cranking up watts, as you can see there, on what, 280, 300 watts, 360 watts, second wheel. So I'm sitting at around about the 280, 300s for the majority of it. Just holding on. What's the heart rate? 156 beats per minute, 45 k's an hour. This is nice and flat. This is a slight incline. This is on a slight incline, not much, but it is very slight. So it's a good run along here. This is a good section. Lots of people do their time trials and a lot of training along this bit of road. So the boys are all tucked in behind. There's Alf behind, and then Dan, and then Adrian. I think Mark has dropped off. He's not going to stick around. So Tim's powering away there, and he says he's not fit. He says he's not fit, bombing along at 45 k's an hour, dragging the whole lot of us along Nudgee Beach. So there you go. Look, my watts still up around about that 270, 280 mark. So he's got to be in the 350s, 380s, I would think, anyway. Because when I come round him in a minute, I'm heading up to around about the 380 watts when I'm up the front. So that is pushing out some power. And what am I on now? 165 beats a minute. The old heart rate still ticking along at 40 odd k's an hour. Absolutely cruising. This is pro speed. We could join the peloton in the Tour de France doing this. Here we come, look, 480 watts. Here we go, I'm up the front now. Alf comes in behind me and Tim takes a bit of a breather. And as you can see, my power's staying right up into that 300 watt mark now. So you're full on having to work. And just to think, the Tour guys at 170 beats per minute, just to think, the Tour guys, they're doing this speed all the time. I don't know how the hell they do it, but they're doing this speed all the time. It's good fun, this is. Good bit of riding. Gets the heart rate pumping. What am I on now? 172. I think I'll max out at about 173. And then in a minute Alf comes in and takes over. And I was quite happy to see him. Here's a cyclist, look. Going past him like he's stood still. But you do when you're hitting like 45 k's an hour. Still in the 350s. I must admit I was glad when Alf came past me and took the brunt of it off after that. Then Tim comes by again, and now I'm having to give it a good effort just to again hang on the wheel again. So hard little section this, but it was good fun, and then we head into Nudgee Beach, and that is the end of that little session. You got any questions or comments, you can post them down below. I'm about to go and jump on my indoor trainer now and do a bit of a session on there and stay out of this bad weather.